Studio G, we're here with your top headlines around campus and in the Valley.
And coming up on this episode of Studio G, we'll take a look at the protests going on all across the nation, plus how the anti-Trump protesters are showing solidarity with a new silent protest.
Also, Veterans Day was this weekend, and UNLV got to celebrate. We'll tell you what the flags in the courtyard stood for. It all starts right now.
Good afternoon, Rebels. We start today off with breaking news. I'm Chelsea Bangle.
And I'm Jordan Lorenzo. The world of journalism is mourning a true pioneer. Gwen Ifill has died at the age of 61. She was known as a groundbreaking reporter who covered the White House, Congress, and national campaigns during her career. She worked for the Washington Post, the New York Times, NBC, and most recently, PBS. Ifill was fighting a battle with cancer. President Barack Obama addressed her death to the nation yesterday.
On a personal note, Michelle and I want to offer our deepest condolences to Gwen Ifill's family and all of you, her colleagues, on her passing. Gwen was a friend of ours. She was an extraordinary journalist. She always kept faith with the fundamental responsibilities of her profession, asking tough questions, holding people in power accountable, and defending a strong and free press that makes our democracy work.
Police are investigating a fatal crash near our campus. It happened around 5 a.m. this morning at the intersection of Tropicana and Maryland Parkway. As a result, all traffic near the area was shut down until 11 a.m. Police say the crash involved a pedestrian who was crossing the street. The accident is still under investigation.
The election has been over for a week, but the nation is still divided.
Many people have taken to the streets to voice their frustration. This video shows hundreds of students walking out of Montgomery Blair High School in Silver Springs, Maryland. They started at their football field, then went into neighboring streets. Local police drove by the group to make sure everyone was safe.
We need to think deeper, think about why Martin Luther King said the riot is the language of the unheard, and we need to think about why those people feel unheard. My goal is to channel that energy into something positive, but regardless, we need to think about why those people feel unheard and not just condemn those actions, but also think about why that's happening.
Portland has been a major city for protests. Over the weekend, activists held a vigil near the waterfront to peacefully protest and share their feelings about a Trump presidency. After the vigil, the crowd silently marched downtown. Police confronted protesters multiple times, but no arrests were made.
Next, we head to Trump's home state in New York City. Thousands of protesters gathered to march and chant in solidarity. You can also see protesters holding signs. The New York protests have been some of the biggest in the country at the moment.
Anti-Trump protesters have adopted a new symbol for their movement. They're wearing safety pins to show they stand by all LGBTQ, minority or women's groups who feel threatened by a Trump presidency. The symbol was modeled after a similar campaign that was started in the UK for the Brexit vote. While the safety pins have their supporters, many have criticized them as an empty gesture not accompanied by action.
And now we have a special report from Studio G reporter Shakira Hawkins.
She joins us live in studio. Shakira?
Thank you, Jordan and Chelsea. College basketball is back, and Friday was a huge night for the Rebel basketball fans. Not only was there one season opening, but two. The Running Rebels faced South Alabama at the Thomas and Mack Center, and Joanne Mendoza was there with the details.
The Running Rebels opened up their season on November 11th against South Alabama with new head coach Marvin Menzies. The Rebels trailed the Jaguars for what seemed to be most of the game, especially during the second half. Chris Jones led UNLV with 20 points and 13 rebounds, while Jalen Poyser had 17 points. However, it was number 10, Georgie Boyanov from South Alabama, that had a hot hand that night, shooting 3 3-pointers, totaling 13 points in the second half. The Rebels lost 76-68. Christian Jones and Chris Clyburn discussed their final thoughts.
Oh yeah, I mean every college game is different. You never know what's going to happen. You gotta play hard every game.
It was tough, but Menzies just made sure everybody keeping their heads up, going to the next practice like nothing really happened. So once we get to the next practice, the next game, we'll be ready.
This 2016 season for the Rebels includes a completely new roster, including transfer student Chris Clyburn.
I mean, it was our first game as a whole, first regular season game. Everybody got their jitters. Everybody was kind of like relaxed a little bit, but once the game started, we should have got back to how we really play.
Coach Marvin Menzies leaves us off with what to expect for this season.
Listen, we're going to be much better going forward. So if there's any consolation that we started at a place where we could only go up, and we didn't show what we can do, but I know we'll get better. I'm not too concerned about that. That's what we do.
Although the men's basketball team fell short and couldn't pull through with the W, the Lady Rebels destroyed their competition and defeated Concordia University, and I was there to witness it.
The ladies are here at the Thomas and Mack for a season opener, and they are balling with an amazing performance on both sides of the ball. They did a blowout game for the season opener.
The Lady Rebels faced Concordia University for the season opener on Friday, November 11th, and they were able to gain a large lead in the first half. UNLV has never lost a season opener under ninth-year head coach Kathy Oliver.
Thing as coaches, we wanted to make sure that we moved the ball and we shared the ball, and I thought we did a really good job of that at the start of the game. And then we didn't do it as much, but then we started to at the end of the game. So if we can continue to move the ball and make sure that we get a lot of different touches, we get clean looks, and then good things happen.
Junior guard Dakota Gonzalez was one of the key players early on in the game with 17 points and 4 rebounds.
I think that this definitely gives us a little bit of confidence going into the next game. I think moving forward, we definitely have to still improve on things and tighten things up, and this game kind of gave us an idea of what those things are, so that's good for us, and we're excited to get this next game on Tuesday.
Sophomore forward Paris Straubner was also another key player early in the game with 16 points and 10 rebounds.
Excited, we saw that we were at 99 and we knew what play they were about to run, so as soon as we saw Alyssa coming off the stagger, we were excited that she put it up because she's one of our best shooters. We're very happy that we won this game, and we're very proud of what we did, but we also know that it's going to get harder and tougher from here, so we're kind of just like, okay, let's celebrate, but let's get focused and get ready for the next game.
The Lady Rebels also had 23 assists. That's a huge number, and I hope that they continue to play like that. For the Rebel Report, I'm Shakira Hawkins.
The women's next game is going to be tonight against Houston. Are you guys basketball fans?
I am.
Not in particular.
Not in particular?
No, but your story looked really good that makes me want to go.
Have you guys ever been to like a season opener?
I haven't, but I am looking forward to the game at T-Mobile Arena with UNLV versus Duke.
And I will be there covering it.
Oh,
Oh, wow. Well, good luck.
Well, coming up, we've been pushing the fact that Rebel Yell needs more funding all semester long. But a new solution was brought up to the board yesterday, who says they're willing to fund the paper.
Did corrections or additions or deletions to the minutes?
There's a typo in somewhere, I didn't bring it with me, I don't remember where. No, I guess we probably had an outlet for free expression. Very concerned about that and about how it reflects on our university as well, especially in today's political climate. And I'm here basically to find out if there's some...
And then later, by now you've probably seen video of people freezing in place. It's called the Mannequin Challenge. Some preschoolers attempted it, and let's just say it didn't go as planned. We'll show you more after the break.
Sunday evening jazz. I mainly play a lot of contemporary jazz music from the 1960s up until about 2012, 2013. When I go on, just explain who it was, the name of the song, the name of the artist, maybe the name of the album, their career. I just hope that everybody enjoys it and appreciate it for the kind of music it is and how great it is. My name is Sam, and I host Sunday Evening Jazz on the rebelhd2.com.
As far as Studio G, at first it looks overwhelming, and at first it looks like it's a lot of work, but I'll tell you what, it's the most beneficial class I've had at UNLV to date, without a doubt. You get to not only develop stories and work on your interviewing skills, your editing skills, and your shooting skills from a camera perspective, you get to work on all the equipment that's in the studio. So you're working on audio, you're working on directing, tech directing, you get to produce your own show. You can take a 30-minute newscast and make it your own. And that's really cool about Studio G. Like I said, a lot of it seems overwhelming at first, but it is by far the best class I've taken at UNLV since I've been here.
In local news happening right here at UNLV, the Rebel Yell has been on everyone's radar ever since news came out that the paper might be done if it doesn't find funding. Their second to last board meeting, was held yesterday, and reporter Yvonne Garcia has the story.
Monday morning, the Rebel Yell and a board of professionals discussed the impacts and future of the only UNLV newspaper. And students that get involved with the paper give their thoughts on how the paper has benefited their lives.
Bianca and I have talked about trying to get professionals in the building again to have some one-on-one sessions and seminars. That has been difficult because of the scheduling.
It's not just a paycheck. This is our experience. We're trying to build up for our future careers. So we see this as a very important aspect of our campus, and I think, it sounds like we're doing a pretty good job looking at our options out there, but I just really want to stress the importance of keeping this around.
The Rebel Yale staff and the board seem to have some ideas of where to find funding from outside of the university. If they are able to find funding, it would need to be an annual source of income.
The need for a subsidy was in perpetuity. You never know how long these things will continue, or whatnot. I was clear that this was not just a one-time thing, but that this was something the paper would need every year. And the feeling I got back was that the amount that I mentioned was not a problem. Nobody blanched at the amount.
Even though a few solutions were offered during this meeting, nothing has been set in stone about the fate of the paper. There will be another board meeting next month that will decide if the Rebel Yell will live on.
Veterans Day was last Friday, and celebrations were happening all throughout the Valley. UNLV had their own service dedicated to UNLV students who had served or who are serving. UNLV's Military and Veterans Services Center held a ceremony for Veterans Day honoring those who have served.
We're celebrating Veterans Day and showing our respect and honor and our gratitude to the men and women that have walked the path before us.
Students were given the opportunity to walk their own path around campus to pay tribute to those veterans.
We have a trail here of American flags throughout the campus that people can walk or run to remember those that have not been able to make it.
Ross D. Bryant, the director of UNLV's Military and Veterans Services Center, says their numbers have doubled in 4 years.
Since the establishment of the Veterans Center over at UNLV's admissions office in 2012, our admissions has grown from 800 veterans on campus to more than 1,700.
Going from military to civilian is difficult, but it's doable. And once you put a little bit of time and effort and find out the resources that are here to help you out.
One of the things that we highlight here at our university with our student veterans is that some of us might have deployed, some of us might have done this or been through this, but we're still pushing through that. We're getting our education.
A strong support system is essential for the veteran community.
The importance of community is that it prevents this sickness, this lonely despair, from taking not only our weak,
but our best and our brightest. And that's where you come in. I need you to be that community.
There's veterans that are working hard to ensure that things progress.
To follow more events UNLV's Military and Veteran Services Center has, you can go to unlv.edu/veterans.
There are less people lighting up according to the Center for Disease Control. The smoking rate has dropped from 21% in 2008 to 18% in 2013. That's the lowest it's been in 50 years. Although the CDC still insists that we have a long way to go, the director of the CDC's Office on Smoking and Health says the best way to kill the trend is to communicate and educate the public about its danger.
Coming up after the break, I sit down with one of Fox 5's youngest producers and get her take on working in the professional world.
Plus, it feels like fall will never come, but it just might be on its way. We'll have a look at the weather with Mary Jane.
Internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for a journalism major. You have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that your graduation is coming up soon. You're going to have to need some work experience in your career. So it's really good to put yourself out there early on, and they tend to help students a lot more. So when you do a student internship, it really helps out a lot.
You don't get to do an internship, you have to do an internship. It's one of the requirements for a journalism major. You have to do an internship before you can graduate.
Definitely having an internship as a requirement really helps push yourself out there and to just remind you that your graduation is coming up soon. You're going to have to need some work experience in your career. So it's really good to put yourself out there early on, and they tend to help students a lot more. So when you do a student internship, it really helps out a lot.
Walter from Deep Thought.
My name is Bruce Gill. I'm the host of La Alternativa.
Perfect Music Radio with me, Lily.
My name is Sam, and I host Sunday Evening Jazz.
I am Rockin' Gemini.
This is Jalen Young on More Than Music Mondays.
And listen to us on the Rebel HD2.
Working in the media is a tough gig, and it looks like more millennials are taking over the newsroom. Monica Medrano is here, and she is one of a local station's Fox 5's youngest producer. Thank you, Monica, for being here today.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be back.
Yeah, so being a former Studio G reporter, how does it feel to come back to UNLV?
It's pretty cool. I mean, I graduated last year, so it's not like it's been that long. I mean, when I came back here and I was trying to park, I was like, I have not been gone long enough to not be upset about all the parking.
We did get that new parking garage, so that helps just a little bit,
That's
but
true.
Not really. So can you tell me a little more about your job and how long have you been working there?
So I started at Fox 5 in April, I guess it was, and I started as an associate producer, and I got bumped up pretty quick. I think it was just how things happened. Kind of, I just fell into the ladder and kind of got lucky. But I produce the weekend shows and then I fill in during the week. So I've kind of done every show at night so far. It's been a lot of fun. I like working on the weekend. It's a little more calm. There's less people around, so it's easier to kind of focus and kind of tighten up my writing. So it's been fun.
So how did you prepare before to get this job? Was there anything you did to prepare to, apply, to, prepare your reel?
Yeah, well, Studio G definitely helped, but it's not quite the same as being in the newsroom. So I actually interned at Channel 8 under sales before I worked in production at 13. And then I started associate producing at Fox.
So you touched base a little bit how it's different. Can you tell me, you were a producer here for Studio G a couple shows. How does it compare?
It's kind of no comparison. I mean, it's even different when I produce on the weekend compared to during the week. It's just there's so much going on, and when it's just there's a lot going on at one time, and it's very fast. And a lot of times, when breaking news happens, breaking news doesn't wait until your show. And when there's breaking news, you got to get it in during the show. So a lot of times, in show, there will be 3 or 4 things that will happen, and I'll have to get them in as the show's going on. So you're writing breaking news during the show. So it's kind of stressful.
So can you give any advice to the producers who are working right now at Studio G, maybe to prepare them for all this breaking news?
I mean, it's mostly practice. It's just the more you do it, the more you get into it. And I think one thing that I struggled with a lot, and I still try to tighten up, is being conversational. And one thing that's kind of hard in journalism school is we're learning, the how to be writers, and a lot of times we kind of focus on I can't think of the word, but being conversational is something that I don't think we focus on a lot in school. And when you think about it, when you're watching TV and you're watching news, it's a lot of it's conversational, and a lot of it's just talking. And when you're trying to get the facts in, it's important to get the facts down, but also make it sound conversational. So I guess some advice that I would have would be to, when you're writing stories, think about how you would tell a story talking to your friend or talking to your mom. So when there's a crash down the street at UNLV, you say, there was a fatal crash down the street at UNLV, and that person died, and it shut down all the streets, and traffic was backed up for miles. So something like that, versus saying, as a result of this, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. And to wrap it up, can you tell me what your future plans are? Are you going to stay as a producer? Or are you looking for something else?
I like producing. I think I'm in the right place.
You're in the right place?
Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell me a particular story you had, a challenge, something come up that's just memorable for you?
Yeah. Actually, it was a couple weeks ago. I was working on the weekend, and there was a lot of things that were happening on the weekend. There was a kid that got hit by a car on Friday, a shooting down the 15 that killed a couple people, a pregnant girl got shot by her boyfriend, and then something else happened. And it was so much death that happened that I couldn't process it. And then the next day I was watching one of the reporter stories on this girl who had died, and we had completely missed that story because there was so much going on, and we're short-staffed on the weekend. So if more than one person dies, we can't cover too many things. And when I watched that story, I totally just broke down, and I was shaking and crying because I was so upset that I missed that story. So that was it kind of reminded me that although I'm writing about death every day, you still gotta have a heart, and you still gotta remember that you are human. And sometimes it's hard to separate yourself from not being human and having to write about so much death. But sometimes you gotta remember that behind the camera, we're still people too.
Yeah, and I bet it's definitely hard to fit everything in, especially in a big city.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being on here today. We definitely look forward to seeing what you have left to work on TV. Thanks. Now we're going to toss it over to Mary Jane for a look at your weather.
Good afternoon, Rebels. I'm Mary Jane, and I have your weather report for today. Looking at the weather right now, it's going to be high and 84 into the low. It's going to look really nice as the temperatures change. It's going to increase and go up. We're also going to have sunny skies as well. Looking into our 4-day forecast. Oh, sorry guys, having some technical difficulties into this control room. Looking like it's going to be 80, 84, and 85. Sorry guys, having a little bit of technical difficulties in the control room. We're going to toss it to break. We'll be right back.
Station's great. You make friends, you gain skills, you learn how to do all this stuff with audio. It's a fantastic thing.
I can grow with everyone and everybody supports me as well as I can support them.
I think it's great. I think it's a blessing to have this kind of equipment from the Green Spun family as well as the state of Nevada.
And it's really informative to see, how a radio show really works.
Now that I do it, I have friends, I have people that want to hang out, and I get to play music a lot.
It's very good too because we have all the top of the line equipment to work with and students here that can help you out, so it's a very, very good way to get involved in the radio.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kaylee Kirby, and I'm here with your latest entertainment headlines. Musician Pink took to Twitter Saturday to announce that she has a bun in the oven. This will be the second child for her and husband, motocross champion Carrie Hart. She revealed the news to the public in the cutest way ever. She posted a photo of her daughter, Willow Sage, resting her head on her mama's growing baby belly.
Papa? Belle, you must leave here. This castle is alive.
Who's there?
Do you wish to take your father's place?
Come into the light.
Look at her. What if she is the one? The one who'll break the spell?
Disney fans rejoice. The company has just released the first trailer for their upcoming live-action remake of Beauty and the Beast. The movie stars Emma Watson as Princess Belle, Dan Stevens as the Beast, and Luke Evans as the villain, Gaston. The film will hit theaters in March of 2017. On to a different note, music fans are mourning a loss of a great musician. We're remembering Leon Russell.
Some call it afraid, some call it plain. To find the sunshine, leave the rain.
That's Leon's 80s hit, Good Time Charlie's. He passed away Saturday at his home in Nashville. Mr. Russell was a music icon in the early 70s with many hits including Tightrope, Delta Lady, This Masquerade, and A Song for You. He was also known for his flamboyant style, signature long hair, and scratchy voice. Russell was 74 years old. That is all I have for you for your entertainment news. Now back to Chelsea and Jordan in the studio.
Thank you for the updates, Kaylee. The Mannequin Challenge has taken the internet by storm, but not everyone can keep still.
One adorable group is having a hard time playing the freeze game. These adorable 4-year-olds begged their preschool teacher to film them doing the trend. But something, something wasn't right. Between the giggles and blinking, the kids just can't hold still, even though their attempt technically up to the standards of the pro non-movers we've been seeing, will still put this video in top 5 mannequin challenge we've seen. I think
at
it's
least they tried, right?
Yeah, I think it's interesting they try to get preschoolers to stay still. That never works. It doesn't matter what you do.
Yeah, they were blinking slowly. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Studio G. Make sure to follow us on social media. I'm Chelsea Bangle.
And I'm Jordan Lorenzo. We will see you again tomorrow for another episode.